We have a nationwide organization of grassroots reporters, and right now they're in various states doing election investigations in some of the contentious Senate races. So they go out undercover into these campaign offices, into the local political organizations with hidden cameras in their tie, their lapel, their button, and they film people. People don't know they're being filmed, and they're talking to them about how to commit voter fraud, how to do illegal things, and the various lies of the campaign. And we're getting this on tape, and we get covered by all the local TV stations in the state, and we're making quite an impact. The one we did in Kentucky a week or two ago has had quite an impact on that race. We are incredibly controversial because I think reality is controversial in this day and age. When you keep doing it, people finally, first they call you a liar, first they call you names, they try to say, put him in jail, shut him down. But after a while, you keep doing it, people realize, wow, maybe there's something to this. Maybe he is telling the truth. And I think it just takes time. And especially in the business that I'm in, the media business, in the political business, it is a very difficult and challenging thing to be a disruptor in today's world, to be a disrupting journalist. That is the fight that I face the most, is characterizations. You're not a journalist, you're an activist, you're a criminal. Most people in that situation give up or stop going, and the most important thing for every citizen to know today is you just have to keep going. You can't give up, you got to keep producing. You got to keep getting stories out there that make a difference. This whole left-right thing, screw it. I mean, I want everyone to be exposing with cameras, not defending with words. We just need to give them more information.
If you're registered to vote, you've got a voter registration card?
Yes.
You're good to vote.
I have a little secret too,
Okay.
but I'm not legal.
Oh.
I'm here and undocumented,
Okay.
but I can vote.
Yeah, you can vote.
I don't think they're going to dig that too deep into it. All I can say is try.
I'm James O'Keefe, reporting from North Carolina. Many people across the country say that voter fraud is a myth. Project Veritas Action has found just the opposite. But what we found here in North Carolina is almost beyond belief. Campaign officials encouraging foreign citizens to vote illegally in this state's elections.
I have a little secret too.
Okay.
I hope you help me out. I actually, I have a license.
Right.
I'm registered to vote.
Okay.
But I'm not legal.
Oh.
I'm here and undocumented.
Okay.
But I can vote.
Yeah, you can vote.
The story was simple. Our investigator posed as a Brazilian-born immigrant who wanted to vote but wasn't a U.S. citizen. Here, she and her partner are talking with Greg Amick, the campaign manager for Democrat Erwin Carmichael, who, believe it or not, is running for sheriff of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina.
Do you want to tell him your situation?
Yeah, so, I mean, I do have my license, but I'm not legal.
Okay.
And I want to vote. But I do have my license. I'm registered.
You are registered?
I'm not registered.
You do not need a photo ID. When did you register? Have you?
But I don't have my green card, so I don't know if that's...
You are registered to vote, though.
I'm not registered to vote, yeah. And I want to
Have you voted before?
No.
You've never voted before in Mecklenburg County?
What happens is the state gave a bunch of illegals, when they gave them their license with the DACA card for the DREAM Act, a lot of them inadvertently got their voter registration card as well.
Okay.
Earlier this month, voter rolls in North Carolina were shown to include a large number of immigrants who had been registered to vote but shouldn't have because they weren't U.S. citizens.
So technically they're not legal, but she really wants to be able to support and help pay legal.
You do not have to have your driver's license, but do you have any sort of an identification
No,
at all?
I do have my driver's license.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
Then show them that and you're good.
But the only problem, I don't want to vote if I'm not legal. I think that's going to be a problem. I'm not sure.
It won't be. It shouldn't be an issue at all.
No?
As long as you're registered to vote, you'll be fine.
The North Carolina law is very clear. Any person who shall, in connection with any primary, general, or special election held in this state, do any of the acts or things declared in this section to be unlawful shall be guilty of a Class 1 felony. It shall be unlawful for any person, knowing that a person is not a citizen of the United States, to instruct or coerce that person to register to vote or to vote.
Is it legal for her to vote if she's not a citizen?
If you're registered to vote, you've got a voter registration card?
Yes.
You're good to vote.
Antonio Marquise Finney works for Carla Cunningham, who is running for re-election as a state representative.
Okay, that's what I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah, we are representing her today.
You are?
We actually represent her campaign and Ms. Carla Cunningham campaign.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in a little situation because I have my license, but I'm pretty much illegal, and I like to vote it. But I don't want to get back to me with my address and stuff, so that's...
I don't think they're going to dig that too deep into it. All I can say is try.
It seemed everyone we asked thought it was okay for this non-U.S. citizen to vote.
I have my license, I'm registered to vote, but I'm undocumented, I'm illegal. But I want to vote. I want to support Kay Reagan. That's what I'm here.
You already registered?
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you what, I go in there and vote, and whatever address you use before you use it, I go in there and vote, and let them find out if it's wrong.
This campaign worker is supporting Republican Chris Haley, who is running against Erwin Carmichael for sheriff.
You want to make sure Kay Hagan is pro-immigrant. You know, we don't know if
She definitely is.
I don't want to give my vote if she's not.
Yeah, she definitely
she's
is.
okay with
Yes,
like illegal.
absolutely.
You think she's okay with me being illegal voting for her?
Absolutely.
I know.
So Kay Hagan wouldn't mind her voting even though she's not a citizen.
No.
Okay.
No. Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you.
So sweet.
She even decided to call her boss to double-check.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. You should be fine as long as you're registered.
Who told you that? That was your boss?
Yeah, I just spoke with the campaign manager.
Oh, good.
Darren Sims is the campaign manager for Yolanda Trotman, who, believe it or not, is running for district court judge in the county.
We just want to vote for Kay Hagan because my girlfriend is, she's not a citizen yet, and she's very
But I have my
pro-immigrant.
license.
But she does have her license.
And I want to vote
She's
for her.
registered to vote, even though she's not, even though she's technically not a citizen yet.
Okay.
But she actually has the
Registration card. So all you have to do is go in there and give them your name and address.
But that's what I'm afraid, because I'm illegal. I don't want to give my information, and then they get back to me.
Does she have to do that?
Because they're going to either ask you for your ID.
Well,
I
she
wish
has
I
that.
have it.
Okay, yeah. And as long as she has an ID and she shows you an ID,
And she's registered to vote.
she's registered to vote.
But she's not, she's undocumented. Does that matter or not?
Okay, but you have to have a registration. You have to have a registration card.
She does. She has all
Okay, so
that.
the registration card have an address on it.
Yes.
Okay, as long as you show them that and it has an address on it,
Yes.
you're good.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So they're not going to call immigration and stuff.
No.
Oh, good.
As long as you got
Good.
you
I
got a
gotta feed my
voter's
whole
card,
family.
just pull out your voter's card and give it to them.
Martin Kelly is the father of David Kelly, who, believe it or not, is running for Superior Court judge. Currently, David is an assistant district attorney for the county.
How'd you register without being a citizen? Because she got a DACA card.
And that's a temporary, isn't that a temporary one?
No,
it's a
if
green
they
card.
let her
Is it
register,
a green
no,
card?
not a
She can't
green
get in
card.
trouble.
Okay. It's just a license. I can lie. I can lie.
If you register,
You can work here. You
Yeah, they
can,
can.
Yes.
You can,
all they do is say
yes.
no.
Yes.
Well,
At Project Veritas Action, we wondered, is there anyone in North Carolina who thinks it's a problem for non-U.S. citizens to vote in this state's elections?
Hello, is William Romero home?
William Romero is registered to vote in North Carolina. Here is a copy of his voter registration form, where it says he was born in Colombia, South America. He is, however, not a United States citizen, according to jury refusal records obtained by Project Veritas through a public records request in Wake County, North Carolina. His name and address fell under the category that says true for non-citizenship.
We have a question for him about his jury duty form.
Why are you recording? Turn that off. Turn that off. You ever put that on TV anywhere? I'm gonna sue your ass.
Well, you know if he's a citizen, sir?
Who are you with?
Is he a United States citizen?
Turn that off. I don't know.
We're on public property, sir.
Okay.
Here's the right film.
A strange man arrives in North Carolina at Mr. Romero's poll address and is offered his ballot to vote, despite the fact he said he had a Colombian passport.
William De Jesus Romero.
Is Romero your last name?
The name? William De Jesus Romero.
Okay. Put an X. Put an X in this box.
I get passport.
We don't need the passport, sir. All we need to do is to have you verify that you are who you say you are. We do not require an ID. We just require that you state your name
No.
and address.
I get passport.
No, we don't need it.
I go get.
We don't need it.
Passport Colombiano in El Coche.
Sign your name right there and you may vote.
It's the.
Okay, you
I
can't sign.
Feel better with passport. Build better with passport.
If you want to get the passport, you may do that, but
do.
we do not need it. We simply need for you to make an X in this box, just like this.
Voy a tener passport colombiano.
Spignew Gorzkowski is also registered to vote in North Carolina. Here is a copy of his voter registration form, but he is not a United States citizen, according to jury refusal forms obtained through a public records request in Durham County, North Carolina, that says he's categorized as a Code 7. Code 7 on the list in Durham County indicates a non-citizen. We spoke to Wade County Board of Elections Deputy Director Gary Sims about the fact that non-citizens were registered to vote in North Carolina.
Did you find any of these people voting?
I can check for voting history.
I mean, that's what I would encourage. That's what I would encourage you to do.
So we did, and found Mr. Gorzkowski had actually voted twice in the past, in 2008 and 2010. We sent in another strange man who was also offered Mr. Gorzkowski's ballot to vote.
Spignew Gorzkowski? G. Gorzkowski. That's all right.
If you can sign it, it'll be okay.
Okay. I don't have my passport on me.
That's all right.
I don't need it. I can still vote. Sign. Okay. I would just feel more comfortable if I had passports.
Okay.
I'll go get my passport.
We called Mr. Gorzkowski, who acted coy and evasive about his citizenship, calling the public's ability to access his public records both weird and dangerous.
We noticed you were called for jury duty in the last 2 years and were disqualified on the grounds that you were a non-citizen. We would like to check and see if that is still the case.
No, it's not the case.
It's not the case? You are a citizen now of the United States?
I don't know who are you calling from.
I'm sorry?
I don't know.
Sir?
Yes.
You are a citizen?
Yeah, I don't know who you are and what is the interest for you.
Well, we're an independent agency that monitors public records, particularly jury duty forms and jury duty pools.
Okay. They just call them.
Well, we have the public records. We did call them, and we got the public records.
You have
from
the public records?
Yes, but we're making sure the public records are still
Who
up
gave
to
you
date.
the public records? Who gave you the public records?
The county does.
The county does?
Yes, local governments.
Well, they sell the information like this?
They do not sell the information. It's public information. You can request it yourself.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. That's dangerous.
It's transparency.
But that wasn't all we found in North Carolina. We found ballots being offered out in the name of the dead. One man, Michael Bolton, had died April 23rd, but apparently the Board of Elections didn't get the memo, and his ballot was offered to us on May 8th.
The name is Michael G. Bolton.
Yeah, just do
just
something.
make an X?
Yeah, just do something.
That's all you need to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get my ID.
No, I don't need your, I can't take your ID.
Really?
No, come here.
You can help me?
Yeah.
You
Here.
can just draw it for me?
Here, put your hand on mine.
Sign and then
yeah.
initial.
Or, yeah,
I'll tell
sign
you what,
initial.
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to
Okay.
get my ID,
Okay.
bring that in here, we'll do that.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
fine, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
We found much more than we expected.
Where can I get active and get some of these fuckers out of the General Assembly?
Where did that girl come from? Where did that girl go? She hit me like...
Looking at proves that voting is a public, policing, open process.
So we depend on the public to
No,
maintain the
we-
integrity of our elections.
You know, the answer is yes.
First, we caught election judge Michael Williams on tape talking candidly about the state constitution after Ballot Amendment 1 had passed. It happened during a post-election party for opponents of Ballot Amendment 1. Our undercover reporter was doing the Cupid Shuffle at a bar amongst activists who opposed Ballot Amendment 1.
Michael Williams, and I live in Durham.
I'm an election judge, so I got to sit there and watch people vote all day. And sit there and think, wow, they're voting on me.
He's trying to decide now whether he can, in good faith, take the oath to be an election judge that says, I
swear to uphold the Constitution of the state of North Carolina.
Every election official has to take an oath every election.
What's wrong with that?
The oath says,
Well-
I'll uphold the Constitution of the state of North Carolina. The Constitution of the state of North Carolina is now pointed directly at me.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean it anymore.
Conflict of personal interest.
It now enshrines bigotry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I can't. Either I'm going to not do it, or I'm going to make a show of saying I mostly support the Constitution of the state of North Carolina.
Just opposing the First Amendment.
And we just celebrated our 10th.
We just need somebody to run over
6 now?
Scalia.
7? Something like that?
Huh?
We've got what? 6 states now? 7? Something like that? Oh, there we go.
Run over Scalia?
That'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
We should get him and Thomas at the same time.
That was off the record.
Then we sent 2 students into UNC Chapel Hill to discover professors, deans, and university officials discussing voter fraud.
I was registered to vote in Ohio. I still am, and I registered to vote here because there is a voter drive, and I thought it was my civic duty to register to vote. It's the right thing to do and all that. And I voted absentee ballot in the Ohio primary, and I actually voted here as well, early voted.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And hopefully no one will figure that out.
Well,
Hi.
But when a conservative student journalist posing from the Tar Heel confronted Terry Phoenix, the UNC director took a different tone.
Eric Holder actually said that there isn't voter fraud.
There's actually not.
Really?
You know, I mean, show me a statistic, show me a study.
I've got about 30 friends who we all decided and committed to, once it looked like Romney was going to get the Republican nomination, we all decided to vote for Gingrich in our home state and then vote for Gingrich here in our other home state of North Carolina.
Well, I mean, I can't say that there's not a single case, because there probably is.
I definitely don't. I don't want to tell them about my little Operation Chaos.
No.
Okay.
Tell me I'm going to email you I'm going to go get it and show you what I've printed out for you, but tell me your email so I can email you the document.
Can we just use my Gmail?
Okay, what is that?
Jason, Jason, dot Rainier.
You know what? I should send it from my Gmail account too.
She touched my private parts, and now she made me wanna work it out. Yeah.
And I'd love to see Silent Sam have a boa around his neck and a sign that says, Silent Sam is voting against.
God doesn't make mistakes.
That's
I'm
right.
on the right track. I was born
That's
this
right.
way.
That's right.
And Dean Blackburn of UNC told us Terry Phoenix would be the one to talk to about our so-called Operation Chaos.
Have you had the opportunity to meet our LGBTQ Center director, Terry Phoenix?
I've heard the name a couple times, but I haven't met her yet. I should probably get in touch with her.
Absolutely would. Terry's a great person and far more knowledgeable on this issue than I am. I identify as bisexual as well.
Finally, the director for the Coalition to Protect All NC Families was caught on tape comparing voter fraud to speeding and assuring our reporter he would not get in trouble for voting multiple times.
You know what else is against the law? Speeding.
Well, yeah, and everyone, right.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, whatever.
2 election supervisors take action tonight after an NBC2 investigation uncovers flawed record-keeping and human error, allowing people who are not citizens of the United States to vote.
NBC2 investigator Andy Parati has been working on this story now for more than 2 months.
He joins us live from the Lee County Election Center. Andy?
Well, Len Lindsay, we don't know how widespread this problem is because elections offices don't keep track of where non-citizens live. So we decided to do something that they never tried to do before, and we found them on our own. Have you voted before?
Right. I vote every year.
Hanako Danette is not a U.S. citizen, yet the Cape Coral resident is registered to vote. Do you know that you're not supposed to vote if you're not a U.S. citizen? NBC2 found Danette after reviewing her jury excusal form. She told the clerk of court she couldn't serve because she wasn't a U.S. citizen. But we found her name and nearly 100 others like her in the database of Florida registered voters. You have no idea why you're registered to vote.
I have no idea. I mean, how am I supposed to know? Go driver's license facilities or anything. I don't know.
This Naples woman didn't want to show her face. While she doesn't know how she was registered, she does know how to vote. Records show she voted 6 times in elections dating back 11 years.
I know you cannot vote before you become a citizen, so I never tried to do anything like that.
Samuel Lincoln is not a U.S. citizen either. The Jamaican national says he doesn't know how he ended up registered to vote.
So this is all a big mistake.
So that's their mistake, that's not mine.
But we obtained a copy of his 2007 voter registration application. It's clearly marked U.S. citizen.
And that is under oath, that document. They're attesting that it is in fact true. And by falsifying it, it's a third-degree felony.
County supervisors of elections tell me they have no way to verify citizenship. Under the 1992 motor voter law, they're not required to ask for proof.
We have no policing authority. We don't have any way of bouncing that information off of any other database that would give us that information.
Does that need to change?
I think it needs to be looked at.
Until that happens, the only way supervisors of elections can investigate voter fraud is if they get a tip.
It looks like these individuals lied on your documents.
So that's what our list became. After showing them nearly 100 names we compiled, both elections offices sent letters to each voter asking them to verify citizenship.
It could be very serious. It could change the whole complexion of an election.
It's important to note that we don't know whether they were here legally or not, only that they're not U.S. citizens. It takes 30 days. They have 30 days to respond to those letters to verify their citizenship. If they don't, they'll be taken off the voter rolls. Back to you.
Andy, quick question for you. We know in Florida all too well that it can only take one vote and that can make a difference, but are the supervisors changing their policies to make sure that the people who are not allowed to vote, that they don't vote?
Based on our investigation, both elections offices plan to request jury excusal forms from clerk of courts every single time they get one that says not U.S. citizen. They'll basically do what we did. They'll take those names and they'll compare those names with people registered to vote in Florida.
You know, over the years, I've trained myself to observe media manipulation, how narratives are constructed that basically tell people what and how to think. Now, pretty much all of the destruction of this country that we've seen over the last 40 years has come not from politicians, but rather politicians operating in the wake of media narratives that give them power and especially cover. Now, the left has scores of geniuses in media manipulation. We only had 2. One of them is gone now. That one was Andrew Breitbart, obviously. And the other authentic media genius, I think, is James O'Keefe, because James O'Keefe has the genius level ability to construct a perfect narrative. Now, case in point, Attorney General Eric Holder doesn't think voter fraud is much of an issue in American politics because voter fraud has always aided his and his master's ideology, so it doesn't get enforced in the way that any irregularities that harmed them would. So, James O'Keefe decided to do something about that. So let's bring in my good friends and regular trifecta stalwarts, Scott Ott and Steve Green, to watch the fun. Gents, we have an Attorney General that says that voter fraud isn't much of a problem, so let's watch what O'Keefe and his Project Veritas, that would be the Truth Project for those of us rusty in our Latin, well, let's see what they decided to do about that.
Hello. Do you have an Eric Holder?
I do.
Northwest, that's the address.
Okay.
Last name?
Please sign the name there.
I actually forgot my ID.
You don't need it, it's all right.
I left it in the car.
As long as you're in here, you're on our list, and that's who you say you are. Okay.
I would feel more comfortable if I just had my IDs. All right, if I go get
Sure,
it.
go back.
I'll be back faster than you can say furious.
We're not going anywhere.
I'll be back faster than you can say furious. I should point out, by the way, that that guy was a poll worker. It's not his fault. He doesn't set policy. He just is doing what he's been told to do, and what he's been told to do is not check for IDs. So, Scotty, a guy goes into a polling booth and is about to take Eric Holder's ballot. Do you think that voter fraud is a problem in this country? And do you think that this particular episode might have gotten Eric Holder's attention at long last?
Well, in answer to the first question, it's hard to tell if voter fraud is a problem because we don't, unless we go in and do something like this, we don't hear news about it. We don't, nobody's unearthing it. There is a project in Texas where they were going through the voter rolls and trying to find places where you had like 25 Democrats living in a 2-bedroom apartment or something like that. But in general, we don't hear much word about it. And frankly, in this situation, if the real Eric Holder had gone in to vote after the fake Eric Holder had cast his ballot, he would have been given a provisional ballot because they would have said, Mr. Holder, you've already been in today. And so you would have wound up with only one vote. The danger comes is if the real Eric Holder doesn't show up, because then that guy has cast a ballot on behalf of somebody else, and that guy may be from another precinct where he's already voted and maybe another precinct where he's already voted.
I think the danger's already here, Scotty. I mean, this guy walks in and gives a name, and he can vote. You know what they say, the Democratic motto is vote early and vote often. Steve, why is it, do you think, that the president, the attorney general, and damn near every Democrat in the country is against voter IDs, while damn near every conservative and Republican is for them?
Well, it's because of racism, Bill. And believe it or not, I'm not trying to be ironic here and be funny about that. But I want you to think about this because this occurred to me. This morning when I watched this video for the second time. It's not racism the way you think it is. What we witnessed was a white man being offered the ballot of a black man, and the Democrats think that kind of thing is acceptable. There's a reason. Powerful, mostly white, rich liberals have been stealing the vote of black Americans for decades now. They've done it through racial policies designed to keep black Americans dependent, to keep them out of the cultural mainstream. The deal being, we'll keep the benefits flowing if you'll keep giving us your ballots. You know, Jim Crow was pure evil, but it was practically a kindness in comparison to what the progressive left has done to black Americans.
You're rather a naughty boy, Steve Green. Well said. Now, shifting focus from the crime to the man who tolerates rather than prosecutes the crime, Scotty, I believe, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that Eric Holder is the most immoral, reprehensible, ideologically driven scoundrel to hold public office at least since Lincoln's Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, and maybe the worst ever. Thoughts?
Well, I guess in the last couple of years since I first started running for office, I've spent a lot of time with politicians. And so I don't think, because of that, and I've seen dozens of politicians now up close, I don't think that I can grant Eric Holder the kind of distinction that you would like to grant him, just because I've seen so many people like that. However, yeah, I mean, there's a great concern when we get to the point in our country where we elevate these people to such positions, the people who seem to have no qualms about saying one thing and doing something else, about doing things behind people's back, about, you know, almost every aspect of what President Obama says he stands for, he counters in his actual policy and his appointments of people to office.
There you go. Well, Steve, you know, when the man responsible for upholding the law upholds only the laws he chooses to uphold, what does that do to a republic of what are supposed to be free, self-governing people?
Self-governing? Geez, Bill, we have a Senate that won't pass a budget. We've got this 2,700-page health care law, which nobody has read, and almost as many are able to understand. The EPA is making up its own rules about what it can regulate. We have an out-of-control Federal Reserve that's buying up trillions of dollars worth of treasuries that nobody else is willing to buy in order to prop up spending that's so out of control. Our elected representatives can't even alter it. That's what a continuing resolution is. We left self-governance behind a while back. I hope it's not too late to turn around and pick it back up.
That's a great point, pal. As for me, I just have one thing to say about voter fraud. Liberal judges and pundits squawk about how they see voter suppression as a greater problem than voter fraud. In other words, everyone should get their vote, whether it's a legal vote or not. But voter fraud is voter suppression, because every time someone votes illegally, they are stealing the vote from someone who opposes their position and does so legally. Now, what if this guy had actually used Eric Holder's ballot, and that one vote meant the overturning of a gun control law, let's say, that Holder loves to champion? How would he feel about voter fraud then, I wonder? And beyond that, when laws are only for law-abiding citizens and anyone else can do whatever they damn well want, well, then obeying the law becomes something that only chumps do. And you are not going to like the world where breaking the law with impunity is the smart play. But you may get your chance to see it, and sooner rather than later, if we don't do something about these elected criminals.